Download the geocaching app and click Find Nearby Geocaches. From there, a map of all the caches in the area will pop up. Before you do any traveling today, there are a few things you need to know. Thursday marks the beginning of the NCAA tournament, known as March Madness. It's a time of year when everyone in the office creates a bracket, and sometimes productivity can drop for a day or two. 53% of the threats we've seen after the Parkland shooting have been on some form of social media. Third quarter ends, the music starts. What do we do now?
We jump around.
Tonight's game was not the one the Brewers wanted, but it was the one the Cubs needed.
It's about -6 below zero, and these firefighters are working really hard.
Once you get your beer, you can pick up your phone and click check in so people know that you're here. And even take a photo. I think my favorite thing that we have here tonight is the Dunk a Deputy up there. This year, peak time for colors in Wausau is October 10th through the 15th. In December, Scott Walker signed a series of GOP lame duck bills that would limit the powers of the incoming governor. There's still plenty of time to get your yummy treats. I've got mine right here. I've got my M&M Blizzard.
The entire upper peninsula.
Henry Laxdal and his team are responsible for protecting about 535 miles of the U.S.-Canada border.
Our job is to know every single person or thing that crosses that border.
As Border Patrol agents, they respond to threats at the ports of entry along the border. Other than the international bridge connecting Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, all of those 535 miles are a water border on Lakes Superior and Huron. About 60 agents typically patrol that border, but recently, Laxdal's officers have been needed elsewhere.
I'm sending probably 15 to 20% of my manpower that I have at my station down to the southern border to help them with their operations.
During his 2016 campaign, President Donald Trump emphasized securing the country's southern border with Mexico.
We're going to build a wall, folks.
So far, a barrier hasn't been built, but according to the government, the number of apprehensions so far in the 2019 fiscal year are up, leading to Laxdal's agents being sent from Sault Ste. Marie to the south. Laxdal agrees there is a crisis on the southern border. That crisis is pulling attention and resources away from the northern border.
The southern border is where the greatest risk is right now. And that's where most of the money, technology, personnel, and resources and infrastructure is being pushed to.
But in the future, those resources could very well be shifted north. If the Department of Homeland Security gains control of the southern border, smugglers could move their operations elsewhere.
Is that saying that, smuggling them into Canada and back to the United States is not an option for them? And I'd say yes, it's definitely an option for them.
A move north by criminal networks would present a problem for the largest land border in the world, which is already understaffed. When the end of September hits, the machines come out, and it's time to harvest.
All of our products are grown specifically for the craisins market.
Stephen Bartling and his brother own a cranberry farm in Manitowish Waters.
It's really a family ordeal.
And they're the fourth generation to run the property.
It was started by my great-grandfather, Delbert, back in 1946.
Cranberry growing is a year-round job, but when fall harvest rolls around, things get a little bit busier. Stephen focuses on growing and harvesting, but this year the economic side of the cranberry business took a hit.
Primarily, we're just getting much better at growing them than we were at selling them.
This year, the USDA said farmers will only be able to sell 75% of their total product in the market. With too much supply and not enough demand, people in the industry knew they had to do something to control the market. But the other 25% won't necessarily go to waste.
They can use it as animal feed. It can be used as a soil amendment, but they'll find ways to utilize it outside of competitive markets.
The USDA hopes that by reducing what farmers are selling, the supply and demand will soon even out. The order might be a pain for farmers like Bartling in the short run, but in the long run, it will just mean all of the farm's ripe cranberries can be enjoyed and Stephen and his family can keep doing what they love.
It's a lifestyle. I mean, you really get to live it, do it, be it. I mean, what a great thing to do in the Northwoods.
Stay strong. We love you. We want you home. Never give up, because I know I won't.
Hope Berg keeps her daughter with her every day through pictures and memories.
She loved being around people. She'd do anything she could to help anybody out that she could.
But right now, all those memories are nearly 10 years old. Kayla went missing in 2009 and hasn't been seen since. She was reportedly driving around Anago with an older friend on August 11, 2009. He dropped her off at a Wausau home, and she was never seen again. But people haven't forgotten, thanks in part to some revived hope after Jamie Kloss was found earlier this month.
There's definitely been a renewed interest in Kayla's case. We've got a few more tips since that has hit.
Detective Sergeant Daniel Dooley said he's gotten a steady flow of tips in the past 3 or 4 months. The break in the Kloss case also gave Hope a new faith that her daughter will be found one day.
It's an opportunity for me to keep Kayla's name out there.
There's evidence around the city. It isn't just Hope who believes her daughter will return.
It really affects the whole community and not just the direct people involved.
In Anago, Rose McBride, Newswatch 12.